Hi, I would like to do a little process vlog about my process then, and my process now, today. And you can say that I've gone a process starting in roughly in 2012, winter, spring of 2012. I would start to commit to walk my process with Destiny process, commit to the process of self-forgiveness, to commit to the process of self-honesty or self-responsibility. Self-honesty I learned later, but I was to commit to it, and to self-change, to become responsible, to stop judging the system, government, institutions, etc., and stop judging the system for what it was and realizing that, hey, I am the system. I am the system myself. For what I have accepted and allowed to go on within this world for so many years. I am the system myself. So it's all pointed back at myself as being and my potential. That is part of the SNR process that I am walking, that I recommend for anybody. And you could say that I would be living in reaction, I would blame, I would project, judge people and institutions, and it's particularly about reacting. Me being schizophrenic, I very easily would go into reactions and feel voices in the head or back shots, blah blah blah, small talks in my head, people saying things in my head that I would try to push away from it. I would think, that's not me, panic, and sort of go paranoid. But I had to learn that this is part of me. There's all components that I have accepted and allowed to go on within me and in my world. So I had to sort of grasp with the reality of this is part of who I have become as a robot, as a pre-programmed robot. In my life, accumulated process of suppression, denial of existence, of corruption, of fraud, and lies, and emotional burdens from my life. So I had to realize that I am the system. I am the system myself, and I create my own reality. And I started to work with the Destiny process in 2012. I was very much reacting to what I was experiencing of being responsible. I was like, what the fuck, responsible? How can I become responsible? I'm a drug addict. I'm alcoholic. I'm a multiple addict. I'm a multiple addict, and my life is a fucking mess and a chaos. My life was a fucking mess and a chaos, and I was a multiple addict. How was I supposed to raise from the right? Was to raise up from that? How? Like I just couldn't grasp that idea or concept of forgiveness and becoming responsible and learning self-trust and learning to stand on my feet and say that till here no further, I will accept no more abuse going on within my life, for instance. And I would go for I would be like a multiple addict, suffering from all addictions and escaping from my reality, running away from my responsibilities and my reality, running away from it. And I would go into holding speeches like this here, talking in front of a camera, telling people my experience, how I evolved with self-forgiveness, self-correction, self-trust, self-responsibility, and so on, and become myself as life, who I am as life. And today I have my own company. I have my own company within mental health care relations, and I have my own apartment. I have a car. I can be supportive. I work out and I make things happen. I participate in the field of psychiatry and drugs and so on and so forth where I live, and I make a difference. So today I have a life compared to back then before 2012 and when I started my process, where I see that when I started my process in 2012, when I started my process in 2012, I was a wreck. I was suffering from addictions and I was almost wasted. I was very much a wreck. So I managed to get on my feet and work myself out of those addictions, out of those reactions, blaming the system, blaming the government, blaming everybody for what was going on in this world and within myself, failing to take responsibility, failing to forgive myself, failing to learn, become honest with myself and say that, be honest with myself and say, zo, and then to align myself with my mind-body beingness relationship and learned concepts of quantum mind and about reincarnation and schizophrenia and so on. So my life has gone from being totally low down, wasted, sort of, multiple addict, etc., with issues and issues and issues, into a life where I am living responsibility, where I'm living practicing self-forgiveness every day, where I'm living being responsible and being honest, being self-honest with myself. That is a particular, those are particular goals to reach in one's life. Develop self-communication. That is something we learn as a Destiny process. Develop self-communication. Very precious gift to live by. To develop self-communication and to walk with the Destiny process for what is best for all. Thank you very much for listening.